Hey everyone, so I'm here in Patchogue, New York on the south shore of Long Island, getting ready to take the ferry over to Fire Island National Seashore. This is the terminal behind me, and there's the ferry. It's about a 20-30 minute ride over, and then I have to hike about 2 miles, I think, to get into the wilderness area of the National Seashore. And I'm going to be spending 2 nights over there. So I'll have a full day tomorrow. I'll do some exploring, and I'll be coming back on the day after that morning. All right, so I made it to Fire Island. I'm in the little village of Davis Park at the moment. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But I'm trying to get to my campsite in the wilderness, which is about 2 miles away. And I have about 2 hours of daylight left. So I can't really explore the village too much right now, unfortunately, but I'm gonna try and make a mile. So I finally made it to a campsite. I'm about, I don't know, a quarter mile or so from the wilderness boundary. I can still see the sign from here. And that's my tent. And this is the beach. And this is the view the other way. So far I have this entire stretch of my beach for as far as I can see all to myself, which is awesome. Yeah, so I'm gonna get cooking something and have some dinner. And by cooking, I meant put hot water into a bag. Good morning. I'm starting my first full day here in Fire Island National Seashore, and before I even get out of the tent, the sound of the waves crashing, that's what I fell asleep to last night, so I woke up to this morning. I love hearing that. It's awesome. So it's just about sunrise, but there's really the sunrise should be over that way. It's been overcast the entire time. In fact, it actually did rain a little last night. Not much, I don't think, but yeah, this is gorgeous. I actually like the weather. It's nice and cool. Like, I got my hoodie on. I haven't seen any bugs, no mosquitoes, so that's amazing. Because I heard the mosquitoes here can be quite ferocious. I've seen at a few spots along the way so far the carcasses of horseshoe crabs. They're pretty big. Like, that's my foot next to it. I have a size 12. Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe the horseshoe crabs come up on the beach to spawn or something to do with the reproduction cycle. I know it's a thing, like a big thing in Delaware. There's beaches in Delaware where you can go and just see hundreds of crabs up on the shore every year. So I imagine this must be one of the beaches they do that as well. So now I'm coming up over the dunes, checking out the interior of the island. As you can see, the surf crashing over in this direction. The interior of the island is much buggier than the beach, even though I'm only 100 yards away from the beach. Alright, so I just got my backpack set up for the day. I'm gonna go head down into Davis Park and kind of explore the seashore as I go along. Take my time, have lunch in Davis Park, and hopefully it'll be a good day. So this looks like it was some sort of house or some sort of structure behind me. There's bricks and tile and some PVC pipe. Also, there's this wire here with the ribbon, and there's some signs. And so there's been a few of these along the way. They're roping off protected nesting areas in the wilderness area for, I believe, some plovers, terns and plovers, and skimmers, oyster catchers. All right, so I made it back to Watch Hill, which is just over here. This is where I came from, the backcountry. So Watch Hill is where I was supposed to come yesterday to get the ferry, and wound up missing my ferry because of both traffic delays coming through New York City, and because of the weather yesterday. They were on a different schedule, so yeah, Watch Hill didn't work, which would have been closer for hiking. So I came to Davis Park instead, which is where I'm heading next. But Watch Hill is kind of the little bit of civilization that is overseen by the National Park Service. So there's a marina, a visitor center, some showers. There's, I think, a lifeguarded beach when it's running. There's a campground with some glamping tents and some cottages. It's kind of nice. It's very small, very quiet. So I don't think I mentioned what time of year it is that I'm here. This is the middle of June, and I'm in my hoodie. It's about a little over 60 degrees, windy, overcast. The weather this year has been horrible. Constant raining since like March. So I'm hoping the rain kind of stays off for today. But yeah, this is like almost a ghost town. I saw one couple on the beach as I was walking up from the wilderness. I saw at least one family in the campground last night. There are several boats in the marina, but there's just like, for being the middle of June, like school's out, yeah, it's crazy. There's like nobody here, which is fine by me. But so I saw this horseshoe crab on its back, and I thought it was dead. So I just went to tap it a little bit and it started moving. It's still alive. It's the first time I'm seeing a live horseshoe crab. So cool. It's just so neat. It's got its tail tucked under itself. I'm trying to... Come on. These guys are so weird. There you go. All right, so that was super cool. I've always thought horseshoe crabs are kind of interesting and just weird, but I've never seen a live one. Like, I've seen the shells on different beaches, and I even have a shell at home that I got from, I think, near Montauk. But that was my first live sighting, and I got to help out. I did my mitzvah for the day, so that was cool. And if that's my only wildlife encounter this trip, that's fine. That was awesome. All right, so I'm leaving Watch Hill, just behind me in the distance, and heading over to Davis Park, which I can actually see some of the buildings from here. And one of the interesting things about this is I'm on a boardwalk right now, and this boardwalk goes from the campground, which is over there, probably at least a quarter, half mile, and it goes all the way through Davis Park. And from what I saw yesterday, like going through the neighborhoods of Davis Park, because it doesn't really have roads, it's got walks, and they're all boardwalks. There's got to be miles of boardwalk here. It's kind of interesting, and it makes traveling easy. You know, going through the interior of the island here, it's just follow the boardwalk. So I'm on the outskirts of Davis Park, and as you just saw, like, they have these boardwalks, and there's basically a sand like road. I've seen, I think, 2 pickup trucks down at the police station, and maybe 1 or 2 side-by-sides, but there's like not even golf carts. It's weird. Like, a lot of people have just like hand carts so they can haul their stuff around if they need to, like if they have groceries or whatever, or stuff from the mainland. So all the walks, you know, when they intersect, they have like road signs, just like you would on a road system. Here's one. So I'm on the corner of Dune Walk and Whalebone Walk. And then it's just in these neighborhoods, there's a bunch of houses. I'm almost afraid to like see how much these houses go for. They, even though they're not mansions, they still look really nice. And you know, like these two, I'm sure were not cheap. So yesterday when I got here, this older gentleman saw me with my backpack and asked if I was heading out to the wilderness area. And I was like, yeah, staying out there for a couple nights, and you wish me luck. And then walking around town, I just saw him again, and he recognized me, and he asked how I fared overnight. So we had a little conversation. Turns out he's from England, not too far away from where my mother's from. So that was cool. And he was telling me a little bit about life on Davis Park. They have garbage pickup on Tuesday. The garbage truck comes over on the barge and collects garbage. Because I've noticed people have like garbage cans outside their beach houses. And I was like, they must have some sort of pickup. And sure enough, they do. And he was saying he had to get some sort of repairman to come out and look at something at his home. And they called him, and they're like, yeah, we'll have somebody there tomorrow. He's like, are you sure? Yeah, they'll be there tomorrow. And then apparently, so that was yesterday, I guess. And today, he's like, yeah, they called me again, and they're not coming. Because he's like, I live on an island with no roads. So that was funny. So I'm overlooking the beach right now in front of Davis Park. And it's definitely different than where I stayed. It's much more manicured. They must like pick it up and kind of maintain it. And I can see the lifeguarded area down there, and it looks even more maintained than where I'm standing now. Like it looks smooth, like a sand trap on a golf course or something. And I like how around town they even have fire hydrants at each intersection, or most of the intersections. It's like a little town, except they replaced the roads with sidewalks. Or boardwalks, I should say. All right, so I think I've reached the end of the boardwalks. Just up the top of the hill here was the end of the main drag through town. So then it just looks like it just turns back into the National Seashore after this. So the seashore is not a continuous park unit. Where I was is probably the biggest part from Watch Hill, basically to the end of the island. But then when these communities are, like Davis Park is all private. It's not part of the park system. But then in between Davis Park and the next town, which I'm not sure what that is, it turns back into the National Seashore, and then there's a break for the town, so on and so forth. All right, so turns out the little store here actually has a deli, and they make sandwiches and salads and stuff. So I was able to get some food. I think I'm going to walk back to Watch Hill and eat it. I'm right by the marina right now. So I just had a very lazy afternoon at Watch Hill. Wound up moving down to the docks to finish my lunch, and had these plastic Adirondack chairs, and I may or may not have dozed off for a while. It was so comfortable just watching the world go by. About 3 o'clock now, and I'm going to start making my way back to camp for the night. Again, I'm in no hurry. It feels like it should be about 8 o'clock, and if I was back home, I wouldn't even be done with work for the day. Home sweet home. You've probably noticed during this video how windy it is. It's been this way the entire time. Like, not even gusty really, it's like someone's got a fan on the whole time. Which helps keep the bugs away, I guess. And aside from when I was in Davis Park, sheltered in the boardwalks, it wasn't really windy, but yeah, just constant, steady wind. But anyway, back at camp, gonna relax a little bit, maybe explore down east of here a little bit, then just take it easy the rest of the day. So I just got back in the tent to put my stuff away and came back to this from that wind. It was basically blowing through the screen on my tent and getting all over my bedding. So I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit. Stupid wind. All right, so I seem to have mostly fixed the sand issue. Not completely, but I had my backpacking poncho and I just put it between the tent and the fly and kind of wrapped the sides of it around the tent frame and then tucked the extra underneath the tent. So that seems to have mostly stopped it from coming through this whole giant screen right here. Still getting sand from somewhere, but I can't really stop it from coming through the side screens and over here. But I think it's much better. I'm not going to wake up in a sandbox in the morning, I don't think. Yeah, that was... I've never had that happen. That was crazy. So I've walked down probably almost a half mile from my tent, and I've come across another one of those, I don't know if you can see it down here, but one of those exclusion zones for the nesting. And it's pretty large. Like, the string goes down as far as I can see to the east of here. Because I was going to go check out this big dune up here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. So I've been seeing a lot of horseshoe crab shells and carcasses and stuff. And this one still has, well, some of its legs. Oh, it's got like 10 legs, I think. And some of them have pinchers like that. And then the rear one, it's so weird. It's like a shrimp tail or something. They're such bizarre animals. And again, I think this is one of the biggest ones I've seen too. Like, this is my size 12 for comparison. So as I was walking up the beach, in fact, actually from my tent, I could kind of vaguely see this weird shape on the beach. It looked sort of squarish, blockish, almost like some sort of structure. And I was like, what the hell is that thing? And as I got closer, I thought maybe it was something eroded out of the dunes. It was like roots. This is actually the top of the tree. This is, judging by the bark, I think it's some type of cedar. Anyway, so that's all that was. It was weird because I could see it from a mile away, and it looked much bigger than this. The visibility is weird. Like, already, like where my tent is, looks like it's starting to get a little fogged in. And the same distance that way looks like it's starting to get fogged in. But it's not. It's just like, that's where it starts getting hazy. Like, I have about a mile visibility, and then it starts getting fuzzy. So I'm following just what appears to be some game trails that keep petering out. Yeah, I don't think the dune walk comes down this far. But it's kind of interesting. Lots of shrub plants and looks like some lichen. All right, so it's about sunset outside. I mean, it's still light, but it's officially sunset. And I haven't eaten yet. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. So I'm gonna cook in the vestibule of my tent. Not actually in the tent, but it's just so windy outside. Like, I just didn't want to deal with it, and it's not as windy in the vestibule, so it should be okay. I'm just boiling water, basically, and cooking some ramen. It's a little bit more cooking than last night, where last night I was just pouring hot water into a bag. This time I'm actually cooking some ramen noodles, and I'm gonna put a packet of tuna, like flavored tuna, in with it. All right, so I made dinner. Shrimp ramen with buffalo tuna. It's all right. So this is my last morning in Fire Island. I'm just about packed up. It's been raining for like the last hour lately, so I've kind of been waiting to tear the tent down. I got my pack mostly set to go, and I'm gonna start hiking out in a little bit. All right, so I got all packed up. I'm heading out. And I hadn't stepped out of the tent earlier, but yesterday when I said it seemed like it was foggy, but wasn't. So today is actually foggy. I have probably a couple hundred yards of visibility ahead of me. Just fine, just gotta follow the beach. And luckily it did stop raining, and I got the wind at my back. So I just stopped at Watch Hill quick to throw out my trash, and I just have to make a quick PSA. Please be careful with your garbage. I've picked up literally like probably about 8 Mylar balloons on the beach in varying states of decay, so it's not like they were all from the same event. Yeah, and some other assorted trash. And I know stuff gets away from you, but just don't let balloons go. It's not cool. And just please try and watch your garbage. That's it. So I made it to the ferry dock in Davis Park. It's not here yet. about 20 minutes or so. But I'm just gonna hang out and wait for it. Still really foggy, so I probably won't see it until it's almost here. But anyway, it was an awesome trip. A couple days on Fire Island National Seashore and Davis Park, and got to see my first live horseshoe crab. That was exciting. Camped on the beach, and yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I will see you in the next one.